This conference will now be recorded.
Whatever you guys you have done, reasoning चले जाए.
Yeah, I have checked the pop one, pop method, Samir. The remaining I haven't.
Yeah, me too, sir. I have
Okay. Okay. So let's start with the Python functions. So function is something like it's a block of statements, and suppose you have a specific code and you want to execute number of times. Okay, number of times, so that like each and every time I can write the code, right? Whenever it is required, I will go and write bunch of statements. It's not good. So what I will do now is that bunch of statement I will enclosed inside a function, okay, and I will create the function for that. Then I can call it whenever it is required or whenever I want to use it, I want to use it. Okay. So how to define the function in Python? To say def, the definition is a keyword. Then I will say the function name with a colon. Then you can see statements. What exactly you want to do it here in this case. Okay. This is the function definition. And finally, you can call this function whenever it is required. Let's take an example here. So let's take, I want to just enter two numbers from the user and I just want to sum this up. Very simple. Okay. So I say definition of, let's take number underscore sum. This is the way you define your function. Okay. Def number sum. Right. Here I will say a equals to input or int input, enter a number, right? With the first entry I am going with, second number, same input, enter another number, then c equals to a plus b, print sum is, correct. Now just execute this function, okay. Okay. Now whenever you want to execute this function, with the name only, we will just do it. Say number underscore sum. You enter this. If you enter this, now it will ask you the first number to be entered. Okay. If I give 45, then I will give 55. It will show you that the sum is 100. So this is like the block of a statement which you defined as a function. Any questions up to now?
No, sir.
That good?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Now let's understand a couple of other examples. So suppose I have another function here, def. I say funcat underscore function. I need to take two parameters. This time, I don't want to take input from the user. I will pass two string as an argument to the function. That time, how do we need to do it? So I say s1 comma h2. So there is two parameters here, arguments I can say. I'm passing on to the function here. Okay. Then I can say something like take one more variable, concat string equals to st or whatever the input I have. So s1 plus I will give some space plus s2. And finally I will say print c. Okay. If I do that, let's see what is the output we are getting.
CS print. We want to print CS, sir?
Right.
Okay.
So this is again.
S2.
Now, when you are passing on this function now, concat underscore string. Now you need to pass two variables or two arguments because I have two argument I have. So if I pass like this, first parameter is my hello, second parameter is called the world. Let's see. Now to enter, it will show you hello world. Right? This is another way of creating the function. The first one, we took input from the keyboard, and this one, we are passing on the argument inside it. Right? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So this is the one. Next is very important. I will go to fundamentals first, then we will go to the real-time examples of functions and all. So this is how to define the function. Second, we need to understand one important topic that is called the docstring. The docstring is something like the documentation of your function. What do I mean by documentation? It's just like a comments. Okay, so if somebody has written some function and if he wants to put some comments inside to that, then we will use the docstring. And what is the benefit of putting the comments? Because anybody comes to the function, he can understand that what this function is all about. That was the intention behind creating the docstring. Now, comments in the sense, it's just like a string. Either it will be a single quote, double quote, whatever may be. Okay. But I want to ask you one question. In Python, if you want to put, understand the question. In Python, if you want to put multiple line comments, how to do it?
Hash.
Multiple line?
Multiple line. Like, is it one hash, then two hash, then three hash?
That is single line, right? Multiple line
Uh,
comments. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say? Multiple
yeah.
line.
No, sir. No. No.
No, sir.
How to write the multiple lines?
Slash n? No, I think. Don't know, sir.
Are you
Yep.
practicing guys properly? Seriously.
Uh,
Strings,
in the double quote.
double code it will work. Sure.
Sorry.
In double code it will work. Okay, leave it.
Sir,
So
uh,
it, hmm,
okay. Is for going next line, we use control plus, like slash or enter. Uh,
to to enter
don't remember.
multiple line
Yeah.
into use three dots.
Okay.
This one we already discussed in this stream.
Hmm.
Anyway, so this is the function. I am just putting a comments on top of that. After the definition, I'm putting a comments. Okay, because I want to put a multiple line comments. That's what I'm putting triple quotes. So I'll say some comments here. So this function will take two input as number and give the result with the sum of those numbers. Something like that. Let me put it double lines. Right? Finally, to sum as result. Something like that. I have written some story about this function. Okay. Now, if I execute now, it will execute. And if you still execute the function, it will ask you the function, enter the number, it will give you the result. But suppose somehow you want to see what is the command behind this, or anybody has put it any kind of docstring to this or not, then how to do that? The function name with argument or without argument doesn't matter. After that, put a question mark. Okay, then you will see any kind of comments or any kind of docstring is present for that function. Okay. Enter now, not comma, sorry, not like this. Only the number sum and question mark. Yes. So you will see if you execute it, you will get a docstring. Okay, it is just like a any kind of comments or any kind of availability, so that you can understand the function pattern. Okay,
When we are doing this, but it's not adding up the number.
why it will add? This is what I'm saying. We are seeing the function now. We are
Mm.
seeing the docstring.
Okay. Let's get into okay.
This is about your docstring. Now next discuss about a few argument types. Okay. So how to provide some argument? I just given one argument here. You see, this is called the argument, right, for the function. So what are the different types of argument I have? One I have is called the positional argument. Second one is called the keyword argument. Third is called the default argument. And fourth is star number of arguments, ARGS. Number of arguments. If you want to give multiple arguments, you can put star ARGS. ARGS is not a keyword. It's just like a variable. You can put star V, star S, star T, anything you can put it. But star if you give, it will take multiple arguments. Okay. But it will take the number of positional argument as tuple. And the last type is double star ARGS. It will take number of keyword arguments as dictionary. Okay. Okay. So let's discuss about first the positional argument. In the positional argument, I will give some value defined here. So I say the first position S1 is equals to hello, and S2 the position is equals to world. Then I'm just doing this, enter it. Now in this case I don't want to define anything. I will say concat, because the position for the two parameter the value is already assigned. Okay. So if I enter it, it will give you the hello world. This type of uh, argument is called the positional argument. Okay, so the first position is already defined and S2 is already defined. Make sense?
But when we call the function, we pass value in the function. Like in line 14, we were passing the values.
We are not passing. We are just calling the
But
function.
We're calling.
only calling.
Are you passing anything inside here? No,
Not
right?
like, but sir, when we call the function,
We are calling the function and it's just going there and just doing the job for you.
like we want to change the values now. The
Then
same
you need to
function
change here.
we can call
You
multiple
need to
times.
change here. Okay. You need to change
Okay.
here. So that is called the positional argument. What is the keyword argument here? Keyword argument is something like you need to
Mm,
give the value at the runtime. So I'll say S1, comma S2. I'll not give any value in the definition of the function at least. The other way.
mm,
Just now we did it before. So this time we need to provide the value here. So this is called the keyword. For the keyword, for the S1 we are giving hello.
mm.
And for the S2 we are saying and if you enter it, you give it. So this is called the keyword argument. Keyword. Okay. Now let's go to the default one. So what I'll do for the S2, I will make the default as, let's take happy days, something like that. So this is the first parameter is it will take a input or it will pass as the argument as a keyword, and the second value is the default as the happy days. So what will happen is, so if I now give you only the first parameter, so what will happen? It will take the second parameter as value of this. This is called the default. Okay. I will say hello happy days. But if you give anything on the second one, it will override. It will just override. So if you're not giving the second argument, then it will take the default value whichever you provided. And if it is, if you're providing the second argument, which is the default one, it will just override. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay.
Mm.
Now here, uh, all things are good. Now the main thing is this two, the args and the double args. Here what happens is we are just concentrated more on the two string because whatever the parameter I have, okay, one more thing here, on the default argument, right? Suppose what I will do in this case is I will take the first argument as the default and the second argument as the normal one. Okay. Now if you enter it, it will throw an error. Just remember this point. The first parameter of the function can't be default. It can be subsequent parameters which followed by the non-default can be the one because S1, S2. And suppose S3 is there, S2 cannot be the default, S3 can be default, something like that. So the non-default argument follows the default argument. This always you remember. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. S- So always the last thing will be a default argument, not in the.
First place.
Mm.
Now next come to the arguments, which is very important. So here what happens is how many number of variables you are taking. Suppose S1, S2, that many you are passing on. If you give S3, then you can give three arguments here. Right?
Mm.
But the number of variables you need to pass on. And instead of that, I want to pass one variable with a star. So then it will take the number of positional argument as a tuple. You can take any arguments here now. Okay, let's see. So instead of doing this, I'll say ARGS. See, this is a variable. Just remember this point. ARGS is not a keyword. You can put A, B, C, D, E, F, your name also, but you should be star. I'm very frankly, I'm saying here. Okay, but to understand this, I'm saying ARGS means arguments. Make sense? Now here what
Okay.
will happen is we will just concatenate. So we need to little bit change the logic here. I will take a new string here equals to a blank string here. Then I need to, because if you are giving this, no, you need to give like this value. I can give multiple here. Suppose I'm not running this. So this is my input would be hello world. I can give any records here now. Okay, as a tuple. So this is tuple. I can give any 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever I want to give. I can give multiple arguments here. So if you want to combine all this argument, I need to do a for loop, right? Because I don't know how many items it will be there. So I need to just loop through, right? Making sense this is. So I will do a for loop, let's say A in ARGS. Now I will say new string plus equals to mm, A plus whatever the A I have, I will give some space. It will come back. Right? Then in function, if you want to, instead of printing it, okay, so we have a one statement it called the print, the value. I have another statement in function that is called the return. You know, in Power BI also we have a return, right? If we declare a variable, we can return something. The same way, I can return something from this function. So I will write return the new underscore string. This was my string. Now shift enter. Now I can enter anything I want. Okay? There is no limit to this because this will be an output of a input as a tuple with a string. Now enter it, it will just concatenate everything, whatever we have. So this is the advantage of this one, the star and the variable name. Making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
No. Now next is saying that the double star. Double star is number of keyword argument as dictionary. It's very important. If I say double star here, okay. Now you need to give the value as the dictionary. Now in the inside this, I will say something like this. A equals to hello, B equals to world, C equals to happy, and D equals to bees. Something like that. But this will throw an error. Just think like this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value you are providing. Okay? But it will throw
Mm.
an error. It will say the type error, something like that. Okay? What is the problem on this function? So let's not take the A as well. This is fine. What is this all about? Why it is saying that this is an error for me? If I ask somebody ask you this is an error, Can you fix it for me? What you will do?
I think all the keywords and values should include in the dictionary, right?
Fix it where?
In the calling, the method calling.
Here?
Yeah,
What you will do here? Sorry, I didn't get.
like the keys and the values should include in the flower braces. I think
In a square bracket.
no dictionary, right? It's
Like
So curly
how it
braces,
is.
let's say, like this,
no
like
the
this only.
function calling should be in parentheses.
Mhm.
I'm thinking.
You're saying like this.
Mm-hmm. Invalid syntax. Like,
So is it need to be created in dictionary form, or it can
Correct.
take?
You need to. You need to do that because that's your understanding. This is a dictionary. The argument is a dictionary.
argument is dictionary.
Okay, the argument was the dictionary. Syntax means like when we define dictionary, we put semicolon or colon. Then is that the error in here? Like defining
Mm,
properly.
I don't think so. It will work like that. But
mm,
still, if you want, I can check it. But I know that that will not work.
Okay. Okay. Colon string, colon accepted keyword, again. So if we change
Something.
a to other variable, like the
um,
problem is only a or e.
e.
Yeah. That's it. Okay.
You want to change the to single quote as well if you want. Then
No,
try it out.
not the single one. No, I think this is the same single or double quote, but yeah, for the keys.
So here, as we are providing the value as a dictionary kind of thing, so on the argument when you take it, we need to insert a function, right? Values. Because when you remember from the dictionary, if you want to access the values part, you need to say dictionary dot values, right?
Values. Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
now it works.
Mm.
This is the fix. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
But this is actually not the real example of taking the dictionary. Okay. Okay. I'll give you another example which will in the real time and you will face this kind of problem. Okay. So here, suppose I have a function, I'll take an example function. I want to get the exponential value of certain things. So I will create a function called expon. Inside that, I will take three parameters. One is the constant, second one is the base, and third one is the exponential item. Three parameters I'm taking. Okay, and here I'm return. What I'm returning here is something like not in the parameter. I'm saying what of the constant value is there? Constant into base to the power exponential. This is my expression which I'm returning. Make sense? This function is clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now what happens is, enter it. Now I have a dictionary here. Okay. So let's take sample underscore. Let's first run this function. Let's create this. Okay, now I have a sample dictionary. I have. Okay, here I have CS. I'm giving the same name to understand. You can change the name as well here. Okay, so the constant value is 2, and say the base value is 4, and suppose the exponential value is 5. Just like you have a dictionary with 3 variables and 3 values you have. Now your job is to take these values from this dictionary and pass this as an argument to this function so that it will consider 3 values here, and finally it will return 2 into 4 to the power 5, whatever the value is. In this example only, you have a function, you have some variable, and you got some dictionary, and from the dictionary you want to pass on the only the values part as an argument to the function. Then that time your this function, the star will be really helpful. How? Let me see. So now I will call the function here exponential, and I will put
Uh,
sample underscore dict. Right? Now what will happen? It will just take only the values part now, because when you are and you are giving a dictionary, right? It was unpackaged, and it will assign. It will go to the this one. It will go to the key value, and it will assign here the 2. This is 2. This is 4, and this is 5, and finally it will return the output for me. Let's enter. This is the real implementation of the argument. Okay, just see through one more time.
so, like whenever we need to pass the dictionary through any function, that time we need to use that star star.
Correct,
Then,
correct,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Only the thing is the number of items on your function as an
Mm.
argument, and the number of items in the dictionary should be same, because you have a 4 arguments here. It will not work out, because it will just bifurcate and it will say the 4th argument, right? So that way,
Uh,
just take care of it. Okay. Now, as next you understand the all the argument types. You understand. Now, let's understand the return types. Return types in the sense, right now, as of now, we are writing return only one values we are returning, whatever the values I have, right? So
mm.
here I can return multiple values as well. Okay, I can enter multiple values. Now I'm changing to not to dictionary, to normal, yeah, like something the tuple, the normal way. Now what I want to do here in this case is that instead of returning the concatenation string, along with that, whatever the last value I have entered, okay, just like this, it will be not like this now. should be something like this. So whenever I'm doing the invoking the function, what is the last string which I have given, that I want to just print it. Okay. So for that, what I need to do, I will create a function or variable, say last underscore word equals to args of -1. It will work, right? Whatever the values I have in the tuple, if you want to say the last item which I entered, it will be the -1 only, the index. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Last.
So
Yes.
now, along with the new string, I will input or output the last word as well. Now what happened? Now if you run this one, it will give you the concatenation string plus along with the last one also. Last which one you entered. Okay. So this is now the output is what kind of output is this?
Multiple values. Written.
I know it's a multiple value, but which type?
String. Oh
Huh?
no, it's no. It's kind of tuple.
It's kind of tuple or it's a tuple?
It's a tuple. Yeah.
People.
Tuple. So
It's a
whenever you are
tuple.
returning multiple values from the function, by default the output is a tuple. Okay. But you can change this output to a list, even to the dictionary as well. So how I will change it to list? I will put a square bracket here.
Oh.
Same thing. Now, while running the statements, it will be the same, but the output will change to a list.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And even we can change this to the dictionary as well. So I will put it like this. Now this will be my key. The first one, the new key, new string. The last word will be my values. Like this, we can also create it. It will give you the output as a dictionary as well. So from the return, you can return a single value. You can select a multiple, return a multiple value. You can return a list. You can return a dictionary as well. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. So,
Got it?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Mhm.
Okay. Now next goes to the return types you understand. Now let's understand the variable scope.
Variable scope. Okay.
So there are two types of variable scopes I have in Python. One is called the local one, and
Mm.
second one is the global.
Oh,
Okay, let's try to understand what exactly is all about. Now, in this one, I have a variable in this function. I have a variable called newstring. But what I am doing it, I'm just let's not print the last word here. That explanation is done for me. I will just return it. I'm just returning a single value here. Yeah, that's right. Now, when I'm entering it, when I'm giving the output here, I'm just calling the function and I'm passing on the values, and finally it is giving me the output. What if I want to print this value outside of the function? Because anyway, this everything is getting stored inside this variable only, right?
mm,
Correct? And finally
Mm.
we are returning this variable only. But
Mm.
instead of returning, while calling the function, if I say print new string,
okay.
ideally, as per my knowledge, if somebody asks, by default, it will say that it will give the output for me because anyway, this is the hold. This is only holding everything. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Ideally, it should give me the output, right? If I say print new string, it should also give me the output properly. But
Mm.
it will say that the new string is not defined.
Yeah. Yes.
This is because of the scope.
Local scope.
Okay.
Oh,
By default, when you are defining a variable inside the function, it is local. Local in the sense it will be accessed inside the function definition only. If you go to the outside of the function, it will not work. That's why it is called the local scope. How to access this? Going to change it to the global scope. So I will use a function or a keyword called global. I will say global, then new string. Then if I execute it, take like this line to global new string. Is it global new string? Hmm.
Yeah. Outside.
Come on, whatever.
So if we define it outside the function, then it is global. Like we define the function from the def function.
But I can use this keyword as well. Send
Okay.
this keyword in syntax from
I think, but we are returning the value inside the function itself, right? We have to return outside.
hmm?
Return.
No, that's fine. Return is fine. There's not a problem. Syntax. Hmm, one second. Maybe I forgot the syntax something. Can you just do it in a Google it up or
Mm.
something, please, for me?
Mm.
I think I missed something.
Is this? It is Python. It just like I just saw one example. It is outside the def statement, that function. It says c
Hmm.
equals to 1 and it is just global. Like it did not
Maybe I
describe
think
the global word.
I think using the global I can't assign any blank. Hopefully, this is the problem, I guess. I think now it should work. Hopefully, yeah. Along with the global, I can't put the values as a blank. So I need to first define as a global. Okay. Then I can say the new string equals to blank. Now I'm returning. Now if you see this, I will execute now. This time what happened? Print new string is saying that new string is not defined, right? Now, but if you use it now, it will give it out because this declared as a global. So if you use a global variable, then this can be accessed outside of the function. This is one way to declare the global. Okay. Another way to declare is, you understand this part? Why the error was there previously?
Yeah.
Inside the, when you declare the global, I can't put the values directly. I can put blank. And to define it, then I need to define the, that's why
Initialize.
the problem was on.
Okay, then we need
Instead
to
of
define.
doing,
Right.
yeah. So one way to doing this, second way to doing this is, I can put to the before of the function, I will say new underscore string equals to
Yeah.
this. Okay. Then I can, this is also a global variable.
Hmm.
But here there is a, why the problem is this again. This I want you to fix it. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
will not do this. So this is a global
Mm.
variable anyway. This is a global variable. But when I am printing this string, it is giving the local variable is in there. References before assignment. Okay. We need to just see through this. What is the how to unbounded local error is giving. This we need to
Hmm.
fix it. Problem.
Okay. Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
Alright. So basically let's come to the main thing. So here we have created a function called def number sum, right? So if I enter the number of sum, I'm just entering this. So we are giving some values and finally it is giving me the sum of this. Okay. So now we are on a file, uh, just like this is a file. This is a Jupyter file which I'm currently working on. If I open a new file, the Jupyter again, this is another file, right? Now I want to run this function again on the different file. Will it work?
Mm.
What do you think? It will work or not? It will not work.
Sir, can you go back on that page?
This is one page where I have created the definition of the function and it is working perfectly fine. I am going to
Mm.
another file and just running number underscore sum. It will work or it will not work. I'm just calling the function. That's it. It will work.
Hmm.
Uh,
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
work because I mean, like in this page, we don't see that function
we don't
definition.
get the option. Yeah.
So it will work or it will not work.
It will not.
Okay. What is the
It
error
is-
it will say?
I mean, like kind of like there is no function with that name.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
Name error. Because in this file I don't have a definition of this function. The
Hmm.
file definition, function definition was in this file. How from here we can reference? Unless until you are doing something, right? So here, this uh, this problem we can solve through the
Look
modules.
to, okay.
So we will create some module, and finally, once you define the module, you can use that the function inside the module. You can use it anywhere into the file. Okay, and this is the better way to share the code with your colleagues and your company mates. Hey, let's do that. So here, one question I want to ask you before going further is that in the Jupyter, when you are creating the file, what is the extension of the file?
Dot pd.
Now you both will go to the folder where you are saving it and you will see and tell me, right?
Okay.
No,
IPY.
no. You don't know the remember the name also? Leave it. Okay, this is dot .ipyb, right? IPYB is the normal Jupyter file. But when you create a module out of this function, so this function, I want to put it inside the module. Then I want to store this file in .py because the py is the actual extension of the Python. And when you are using other than Jupyter, any kind of tools, okay, like PyCharm or any kind of Visual Studio Editor, all these things, that itself store the data in the form of py. Okay, but in the Jupyter notebook, the files are stored in the IPYB because that is the default format for the Jupyter notebook. But when you are creating the module, then you need to store the value in a .py format. For that, we need to use a function or a keyword actually before to the definition. What I will do, I will before to the definition, I will say percentage write file. This is a command I need to execute when I am planning to create a module in Jupyter Notebook. Just remember this, okay? Right, percentage write file. Okay. Then I need to say uh, sum underscore value. This is my module name dot py. I need to give the name as py. Now what happen is under the same folder where you are working on here, okay,
Mm.
two files are there. Automatically one another file will generate. It's called the sum value dot py. Let's see that. Now execute this. It's saying that writing to sum value dot py. Now go to the folder. If you see this, there is a function called sum.value.py. Just now it got created. Others are IPY only. Okay. But this one is sumValue.py. If you just click on that, it will give you the definition of that function. Right? Now once you create your module, let's try to use. Now this one, the definition is on one file. I will go to another file and I want to use this function. Now I can do that by importing the modules. I already have a module called the sum underscore value. Inside that I have a function called number underscore sum. I can have multiple functions as well inside the module. Okay. But to use it, I need to use one keyword called import. Import. Then I need to take the value, the package or the module name. Module name is in this case is sum underscore value. Okay, I will use this. Now after that, if I say number underscore sum, now this is the function name, right? Inside this, correct?
Mhm.
This will not work unless if you are importing in this way. Import then the module name, and when you are calling the function, we need to give the module name as well. Module name dot function name. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. Now, if you enter this, previously it was giving me the name error, right? Now try, let's see this time. It will give you. Because this is already a
Mm.
packaged model, right? So 34, 40. This is one way to import it. Another way to import this, because in this case, what happen is, if this module is having multiple functions, everything will be imported. Right now, this is a one function. I can add multiple functions also into one module. But one more way to import is, I can use the from keyword, from, then I will say sum underscore value from the module, import number underscore sum, specific.
Okay. Mhm.
Only specific function also I can import it. And this time, I no need to give while calling the function. I don't require the module name. I can just directly, I can say underscore. This is the two ways you can import it and you can create your model. Make sense?
So yeah, this import function is for this new file. Now again,
Mm.
if we want to call the number sum function, then we don't need to import it again and again. It will call just directly sum value dot number sum.
First import it will be there, then no need to call that. So the import will be the first statement when you want to trying to call that function from that
Okay.
package.
So in new line, we again want to call the sum function in the new line.
Here
Yeah.
Mm. Numbers.
it will work because
Okay.
on this
Yeah.
file is already imported.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So once it's imported, we don't need to recall it again.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you can give this file the sum.value.py file, not the IP1B. You can give this file to any of your members as well, and he needs to put it this file under some folder where he is working. Then he can also use the same function. He can import and you can use the function directly. If I give this file to you also, you can also use this function inside the module. Make sense?
Hmm. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm done for today. Next, we'll discuss few things on the function. I think tomorrow we'll wrap it up the function. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.